that's one of the reasons I wrote this book, was to enroll that part of the world into the idea that Israel's not your friend, is not the friend of the United States, has gotten us involved in all kinds of bad things, maybe going all the way back to 63. And now the Charlie Kirk thing comes along, and that's really showing the seams, in that group. I don't know how true it was that he was going up against Israel, but it seemed, those were real quotes. I don't know if you've seen the quotes from his various.
Yes.
Yeah. And I heard somewhere else that 50% of the questions he was getting on the road were about Israel. So there's this very large group that we thought was lost to us forever that may become allies. And I think that's very exciting, and we should open our minds to the possibility and not reject them out of hand because of their MAGA status,
Mike, we have grown this channel, as I'm sure you've noticed, exponentially in like the past 4 months. It's an incredible ride that we've been on, and we hope it continues. But you obviously have a very large channel, and I am sure that you have an interesting contingent of people that you see in the chats. And obviously, you are a true left politico. Have you noticed any shift in any of the what you would consider frenemies, if you will, that would typically either be giving you the business and things like that? But they've definitely shown this interest in trying to have some type of camaraderie when it comes to the issue of Israel.
You see inklings here and there. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, who has lately been speaking out more against Israel. And she, I believe, is the only Republican who uses the G word, which is significant, right? Yeah. Having said that, though, I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a bridge to some sort of lasting political coalition with the right, because the problem with right-wingers is that they have no class consciousness with us. They only have class consciousness with the billionaires. So even though you might be able to, like, congressionally speaking, get Ro Khanna and other maybe like more libertarian-minded Republicans on board with like something that Mike Lee and Bernie did back in 2018, the War Powers Resolution to stop our complicity with Saudi Arabia's genocide, I don't think there's going to be much fruit there on the grassroots level, because ultimately, even though it's nice to see them come around to Israel, particularly younger Republicans, I question if there's anything more that you can build off of that. Because if you fundamentally are entrenched in capitalism and you want to defend that system, and you don't think that, billionaires are the problem and that it's trans people and immigrants, I just don't think that there's going to be a lot of benefits to aligning with them. Sure, if you're a member of Congress, definitely work with, Marjorie Greene to get her on board with these things. But like, I think a better thing to really pursue is more of the political normies. It's kind of the Zoran Mamdani approach, right? Where you go to these people who have been politically inactive, or who maybe voted for Trump but didn't necessarily follow politics too closely. So, you ask them why, and it's affordability. You talk to them on those issues. But the issue with regard to Israel is that it's very hard to build a class solidarity movement, and class consciousness, in my mind, is the only way to really lead to like a political awakening, or political revolution in like the Reagan sense, where we transform politics. So I'm very, very skeptical about it. Part of it is because I'm overly cynical, because I've dealt with these people for a very long time, and even when they show an ounce of reasonability on one issue, they show how unreasonable and insane they are on like a plethora of other issues. But I'd be happy to be proven wrong, though. But it all comes down to class consciousness at the end of the day for me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that at the end of the day, we're in a class war. But at this point, all the power that we can take away from supporting Israel, like all of the people coming together on that issue, is significant. So even if that's as far as it gets, but it ends the Zio state, I'll take it.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's fair.
And I'm finding that is a very common thread. That's what I'm finding. I'm finding that, you'll have the people. Listen, we got people that have found their way to our channel that love what we're fighting for, and then feel that they have to bash Greta Thunberg. And it's like, guys,
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta, and I just say to them,
Old
listen,
habits die hard, Peter.
old habits die hard. It's like, listen, I don't care if you don't like Greta Thunberg. Do you like the fact that she is trying to disassemble this relationship we have with Israel? And if your answer is yes, then just let it go. And if your answer is no, then you're proving that your interest, as Mr. Figueredo just said, is with the billionaire class, the Zio billionaire class, and not with the working people of this country. Because let's be honest, this is a have and have not situation now, if there ever was one. Ken, your thoughts?
There's also the issue of like, I don't trust their motivations. Even though it's certainly true that like anti-Semitism getting conflated with anti-Zionism is extremely problematic, and they weaponize the anti-Semitism allegation to shut down criticism. I think that a lot of folks on the right, namely individuals like Nick Fuentes, like that's the most obvious example, I think they are motivated by anti-Semitism, and they're not opposed to Israel because they're rooted in like this anti-colonial, anti-imperialist politics. It's because they think they can like use that to push white identity politics and prove that like, see, this is what Israel is doing. There's a link to Jewish people and them ushering in immigration and great replacement. So I think that like the reason why I'm so skeptical about the right here is that they could use this as a Trojan horse. But I'm 100% with you that like when it comes to congressional allies and whatnot, you take what you can get. So like if you can get the most unlikely allies like Rashida Tlaib and Marjorie Greene to come together and agree, hey, let's vote to defund the military aid and do an arms embargo. Like Marjorie Greene hasn't supported that yet. Maybe she will. But if you can get that, hell yeah, take what you can get.
Yep.
Well, then there's also, within the MAGA world, there are a lot of people that voted for Trump just because they didn't want Kamala.
Right.
For no other reason. And I can almost not blame them. I mean, like, I get it.
Yeah.
So we should pay attention to those people who are classed as MAGA, but maybe just didn't want what was on offer this time.
What I'm noticing, which I think is very clear cut, and again, you brought up Nick Fuentes, which I think is a great example, and that is somebody I do cover usually once every other week, Mike, because what I try to point out to people is that, yes, he is correct, but why is he correct? If you look under the surface, you'll notice that the reason he's saying what he's saying is more than just, oh, I think what Israel's doing is bad. It's, I hate the Jews is basically what he wants to say, but he knows he can't say that. So that is a framework of somebody like him that is not good. But I do see the defiance of somebody like Tucker Carlson to be very refreshing, even if it's only temporary, because he can move people. And the way he went after the Christian Zionists the other day, which again, Jen, as you often like to mention, there's the Jewish Zionists that have the money and the power, but they don't have the numbers. The numbers in this country is the Christian Zionists.
Yep.
That's the flock. Those are the people that, and if you're not familiar, guys, with Casey Malone, she's got a nice channel that she's building right now. She's from Oklahoma. She grew up in the John Hagee Evangelical Church, and she basically is like, yeah, they indoctrinate you into believing that you have to die for Israel when you're born, and it's like if you question it, you're going to hell. That's basically what it's been like. But now it's starting to change. And part of the reason I think it's changing isn't just because of the control that Israel has over us. Is everybody not looking around? We are living in another recession, almost as bad, if not worse, than what we had over a decade ago. Like, you have to pretend that it's not this bad. But I'm in commercial real estate, and I know it's bad. So I would imagine that in itself, the class struggle that even people who are, let's say, pro-Trump all the way, if you can't pay your fucking bills, it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to save you. No amount of feeling good about going after a trans person is going to solve the fact that your economic situation is terrible. And I think that in itself is how most people are eventually going to unite. That's my thought.
Yeah.
I mean, one can hope, right?
Yeah. Let me be clear. I don't talk about Nick Fuentes. Peter does that on his own time because I have no interest in talking about that guy. I don't like to talk about other people like that. Also, I just think he's hateful. It's just not my vibe. So I have no interest in giving a further platform to someone that I think is a bigot.
But I also think
Yeah.
it's important that we discuss this in the right framework because, again, a lot of people flock to people like Fuentes because they are hurting right now. They are desperate and they are listening to him. And he is saying things that other people should be saying and they're not saying. And this is why, even though I think Zoran has hit some roadblocks in terms of what how he's trying to, split hairs right now with some of his rhetoric, but at the end of the day, he's already won. He ran as an unapologetic Indian Muslim socialist in the most Zionist part of the United States, and he pulled it off. He's going to be the next mayor of New York City. So to say that that is the biggest shot across the bow to Zionism would be an understatement. And that, to me, I think is a huge victory. And if he gets in there and passes just one piece of that legislation, if he creates a government-run grocery store to mitigate the unconscionable cost of living problems that come with affording food in New York City, I mean, forget it. The guy is the leader of the Democratic Party as far as I'm concerned. That's not saying much, but hey, that's where I stand.